Every second you hesitate, every moment you lose focus, you risk watching another chance slip through your fingers. A chance so powerful it could change everything: your pitch, your project, your future. Imagine the fire burning inside, the constant pull you feel to prove that your idea matters, that you're more than just another name on a list begging for scraps. Now hold that feeling tight, because what's coming next isn't fluff or vague motivation. It's the raw truth about how one single sentence can flip the whole game in your favor. This is about survival, about breaking free from the prison of noise and meaningless meetings that suck the soul out of founders and investors alike. You know the frustration: spending hours crafting slides, fumbling with jargon, twisted in the agony of crafting a story that lands. But what most don't get is that the very thing that could unlock the door is smarter, sharper, and simpler than you ever thought possible. You're not just trying to impress a stranger or convince a cold audience. You're struggling against a world made to trap you in mediocrity. A world that thrives on sameness, on repetitive, safe conversations, on nothingness disguised as progress. The problem isn't your product or your market. It's that your voice hasn't broken through the fog of noise. Investors are drowning in pitches, scrolling past your email, losing themselves in a sea of identical promises. The system is rigged, not against talent, but against clarity, against courage, against the ability to cut to the bone with brutal honesty and magnetic simplicity. And yet, that's exactly what every founder, every visionary, every rebel, clutching their idea needs to survive. Because when your first sentence hits like a lightning strike, when it detonates in the mind of the person on the other side, it doesn't just get you noticed. It gets you invited to the table. It gets you funded. It gets you breathing space to build what comes next. That sentence? It's the ultimate weapon. Not a buzzword-filled sentence dressed in empty hype, but a line that screams authenticity and packs every ounce of your vision into a raw, unignorable pulse. It's the sentence that instantly shows who you are, what you fight for, what makes your project not just another idea, but a revolution waiting to happen. It's the sentence that forces the listener out of their comfort zone, pulling them into your world so hard they can't help but lean in closer, wanting to understand more, wanting to believe alongside you. In the rubble of cliches and slides filled with lists, this sentence becomes the spark that refuses to die out, no matter how many pitches come before or after. It's your declaration of independence against the mediocrity machine. But understand this: creating that sentence is a brutal process. It's not about catchy marketing lines or tricks you find in a hack video. It demands stripping everything down to the purest, most urgent truth. Why? Because only truth burns hot enough to burn through the noise. This is why so many founders fail. They layer their pitch with second-hand philosophies, soft assurances, watered-down promises that preach safety, but never once shake the room. Investors crave the raw edge of realness. They want to see the danger in your vision, the hunger, the refusal to, ever again, settle for the familiar. What grabs them is the tension in your words, the echo of why the world is broken and why you're the one who can fix it, not politely, but fiercely. To find that sentence, you must first do the hardest thing: kill your darlings. Sacrifice every word that doesn't serve your core mission. Every fancy phrase, every comfort zone you cling to, every temptation to sell instead of unleash. Then, you have to connect your mission to the pain points burning inside your audience's soul. Investors and founders both carry scars. You need to reach those scars with precision. Remind them of the frustration sitting under their skin every day, the exhaustion of endless pitches that go nowhere, the constant balancing act between what's real and what's expected, the soul-crushing weight of the status quo telling them to conform, to quiet down, to play small. Your sentence has to slap that monster awake and offer, in one breath, not just recognition, but the promise of escape. That's the secret sauce: pain plus power, wrapped in pure authenticity. It's not enough to say, "Our product solves a problem." That's a whisper, lost in a hurricane. You need to say something that stops their heart, something that connects not just with logic, but with guts. Something like, "We are the chaos that burns the rules you never agreed to," or "We give freedom back to those who've spent too long chained." Those aren't just sentences, they're battle cries. They signal that you don't play by their tired rules and that you've already started rewriting the playbook. When investors hear that, they stop listening to numbers for a second. They remember why they got into this game: the thrill of being part of something raw, something unfiltered, something destined to change the rules forever. Here's why this single sentence matters so much more than the next 30 minutes of your presentation. Because the world is a battlefield of attention. You only get one first impression, and if that impression doesn't crack the surface of skepticism or inertia, everything else is wasted. People don't fund perfection. They fund grit. They fund fire. They fund the moment when your words shove them out of their comfort zone and into the fight alongside you. It's this fire that can never be outsourced, that can't be manufactured by consultants, that belongs only to you and your story. Now, imagine what happens when that sentence hits home. The gates open. Doors you thought were locked forever swing wide. Suddenly, your pitch isn't a fight against disinterest. It's a magnet drawing in the right people. The investors who get you, really get you, are the ones who've been waiting for exactly what you're offering, even if they didn't know it yet. That sentence becomes the signal in the dark, the rallying call that attracts collaborators, mentors, allies, and yes, capital. It's a direct line to the few who refuse to flatter the status quo and instead want to build something fierce, something new. So how do you craft this kind of sentence? Start by peeling back every layer that hides your fire. What makes your vision wild and necessary? What rules do you refuse to accept? What's the brutal truth about your industry, your moment, and your mission? Combine that with the fundamental pain or desire of your listener. What keeps them up at night? What do they secretly want to see destroyed or created? Then, fuse those elements into a sentence so sharp, it's uncomfortable, so honest, it's almost dangerous. Don't try to be liked, aim to be remembered. Most people are told to play it safe. Use safe words, soft tones, polished curves, but safety is the enemy of greatness. This sentence is your rebellion. It's your bulletproof armor and your loudest shout. It says, "I'm here, I'm urgent, and I won't back down." When that lands, your entire pitch becomes a doorway, not a prayer. Investors don't just listen, they lean in, energized by the rare spark of someone who refuses to blend in or settle. That's the moment your idea stops being just another pitch and starts becoming a movement. If you leave this with one takeaway, let it be this: your first sentence is your personal liberation. It's the line that cuts through confirmation bias, fatigue, and fear. It's the heart of your fight for what matters and your invitation for others to join. Build it with brutal honesty and relentless passion. Strip away the noise and watch as it rips through resistance like lightning through storm clouds. That sentence is not just a line. It's your war cry against the dull, your promise of revolution, your first victory in a world hungry for real change. This isn't for the many. It's for the few who burn inwardly, who carry fireboxes instead of playbooks. For those who are done settling, done blending in, done begging for scraps. You don't need another checklist or a cheesy trick. You need your soul on the line, your vision sharpened to a blade, your raw truth screaming louder than any PowerPoint. When you get that sentence right, funding stops being a lottery. It becomes a matter of time. And for those who dare, that time is now.